Hi everyone and welcome to Teach Me Tuesday. Today I am going to start our beginner knitting month. Today I'm going to teach you just the basic knit stitch, which if you go back and forth, turn and go back, you create what's called the garter stitch. And this is what it looks like. And it's the same on the front and the back. So it makes a really nice scarf or, dishcloth, whatever you want to do. This piece here is a start of chain 20, just to give you an idea of how big it is. I am going to start today with teaching you, and I'm going to use a size 10. If I can get it to focus. There we go. A size 10 knitting needle, just because it's the easiest, I think, for you guys to see it. And the first thing I'm going to do is teach you the only way I know how to cast on. There are a couple different ways. There's the double needle cast on, the long thread cast on, but this is how I've always done it, and so this is how I'm going to do it. And there are plenty of videos out there that can teach you the other ways if you want to investigate them. So you start with just a loop, like you do if you were going to crochet. Pull it. You don't want these super tight because you're going to have to be able to get your other hook or your other needle in the hole, okay? So let me see if I can get this. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure out the best way to get this so you guys can see. Okay, now to cast on, I wrap it like that around my finger, my pinky. I just go like that. And then that way I can kind of control the thread. Okay, to cast on, I pull it out and I take my thumb down around like so that if you continued on, you'd have a cross. Whoops, like this, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to stick your needle under and through, and then you're going to pull it, and you've cast on a stitch. And you don't want to pull it too tight, okay? So let's do it again. You're going to take your thumb under and around. So you have this. You're going to take your needle down and through and pull it. Okay, so all you're basically doing is just making a twist with your thumb. So you're making kind of like that. And you're basically just putting your hook in that hole and pulling it tight. And that's a cast on. So thumb down and around, through, and pull. And like I said, don't pull them tight because you got to be able to get your needle in there. And this is going to probably be this row, and your first row in it is going to be the hardest thing because you've got to get your tension right to be able to do it comfortably. So this part you may end up doing the most. Once you get this part down, it's breeze. So wrap it around, put it in the hole, pull it through. Wrap it around, through the hole, and pull. Wrap it around, through the hole, and pull. Wrap it around, through the hole, and pull. To me, this is the easiest way to do it, just because you're not trying to mess with two needles as you go. It's just basically one needle in your thumb. Go like that. And if that's really confusing, all you got to do is just twist, and put it through. You're just basically twisting your yarn and putting it on your hook. So if you want to do it this way, you can twist and put it on the hook. All you're doing is just making a twist and putting it on the hook. So whatever way is easiest for you, to get it on the hook with the twist. So then to start your knitting, and this is going to be the hardest row of knitting because you've got to get these all worked together. So this is going to be the hardest part of your first row of knitting. So what you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook front to back through that loop, okay? So it's like this, okay? And take your thread, you're going to wrap it around through the back loop, so it's like that, okay? Then you're going to pull your needle down, pull it through, so it's like this, okay? Then you're going to take your needle off, and you've knit. That's your first stitch. Okay, then once again, front to back. So you have the cross. Wrap it around and through. Pull it down and through and out. And this is why you don't want your stitches tight. If they're tight, you are not going to be able to pull that needle back through here. Okay, if they're super tight, because you've got to have give so you can pull it out and then get through. So if it's super tight, then you don't have that give to pull like that so that you can get your hook back through or your needle back through. And this is knitting. This is all you do. Around the back and through and pull it through. Around through the middle, or I'm sorry, through the hook, around, down, and through. And the hardest part is just figuring out how to hold your needles. And what I do is when I'm doing the wrap, I'm using this finger down here and my thumb to hold the needles. And sometimes I'm working with shorter needles. So sometimes if I have the longer needles, I also just rest it on my lap. But basically, if you use this finger and this thumb to hold that needle, then you can wrap and round and go. And through, around, down, and out. And here you go, guys. You're knitting. This is the basic knit stitch. Around and down. And I always recommend doing a lot of practice on this to get your tension. Tension in knitting is what it is, just like in crocheting. You want an even tension and you want a tension that you can work with. So you just need to practice that. And I always say, just keep going. Just go. If you want to start, to make a dishcloth, like I said, I chain 20. If you want to do a scarf, then you just put on there however many you want. And there you go. You've done your first row. Now to do your second row, you're just going to turn. And you're just going to do the exact same thing. Just going to wrap it down and go. And when I first started knitting, I just went. I mean, I had a piece of cloth that was long enough to be a scarf. Granted, it wasn't pretty because my tensions were all over the place. I had rows that were super tight. I had rows that were super light or, loose. But I just kept going. And you could see how I improved as I went. Round, down, and through. As you watch the swatch, it got better and better, and pretty soon it was uniform. It was, ready to go. And so then, I started branching out into making other things, learning other stitches. There are so many knit stitches that come off of just this. You can do the cable stitch. I mean, there's just a lot you can do, but you got to get this basic here down just basically for your tension. Everything else is going to come based on tension, and you just keep wrapping it. And there you go. Done 2 rows. And you're going to start to see, your pattern emerge like that. I'll do 1 more row with you. Just insert, wrap, pull through, pull under and out. In, wrap, under, out. And I hope you guys, if you're learning, show me how you're doing. Post your pictures on my Facebook page, which is going to be in the comments below. I'd love to see, practice for the week. I'll be back next week to teach you the purl stitch. But I'd love to see pictures on my Facebook page of how your first week went, what you thought. I'm excited to see beginners, what they think, how well they do, if this video made sense. If it didn't, then please comment that below too. But in the comments, I'd like to hear, once you get this figured out, what is the first thing you'd like to make? Do you want to make just a scarf? Do you want to make a hat, gloves, a sweater? I mean, there's so much you can do. Let's see, and there you go. And that's all there is to knitting. It's more a basic, just learning how to hold your needles and get your tension right so that you're not pulling these loops too tight so that you can't get your, if you're having trouble getting your needle under it, you're doing it too tight. You need to loosen it up. If you've got, big gaps and stuff, then they're too loose. So you just need to practice your tension. And once you get this down, this is something you can do it without looking at it. You can, do it while you're talking, just the basic niche stitch. There's no thinking to it. So I hope this made sense. I hope you guys practice and send me some pictures, and make sure you come back next week for the purl stitch. And hang tight, because later on I'm going to do an unboxing of my diamond painting and pick the winner for the 150 subscribers. So, and make sure I do have my 250 subscriber contest out there, giveaway. So make sure you check that out, and God bless, and we'll talk to you later.